Before I start off my presentation, before I start off my presentation on what are some key benefits you will realize from an SAP experience perspective, let me ask you a couple of questions. So through exhibiting a poll, right? So can I have the poll, please? Yeah, so let's take around 30 seconds or so, and I request all the audience to answer the poll, and probably we'll connect in a few seconds again. Thank you. Okay, all right. So I think we have a few answers coming up. Okay, while we see the poll results, while a lot of, thanks a lot, first of all, for taking the poll. I see majority of you are still on ECC on-prem. And the requirement is most on performance and scalability. That's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, okay. While Srinath has highlighted various migration approaches, let me bring in some important business drivers and key benefits of migrating SAP workloads to AWS. So if you see in this slide, I have assembled almost 15 key benefits. So we are going to mostly focus on the business drivers that SAP business actually looks for, and also those I would say as a compelling reasons. And then we also have key benefits that are highlighted. So over here, if you notice, there are 3 migration approaches that are here, and are about 5 compelling reasons and 5 key benefits adapting each approach. So let's talk the first migration approach. So if you are an SAP business owner who wants to migrate to AWS without making any changes or much changes to the underlying OS layer or a database layer or an application layer, then I guess this is lift and shift is the right option for you of, whether it is ECC from on-premise to ECC on AWS. So this migration approach is the best option for you because there won't be any changes that are required. Primarily, it is a lift and shift, which is also called as-is migration. So in this, there are a couple of other compelling reasons. If I want to highlight, it could be that if at all you're approaching close to the contract renewal for your data center refresh, data center consolidation, or hardware refresh, I think that's the time you can think of migrating it to cloud. Especially this SAP workloads, there is always increased instability of your existing infrastructure across various environments over a period of time, as in when your business process is getting complex, or as in when there is a growth increase in the growth rate of your business. So this will be one of the compelling reasons where you can think of migrating it to AWS. So, and then one of the other reasons is that if there is immediate cost optimization benefit, if you would like to achieve, that's a time where you can think of this lift and shift, right? And moving on to the key benefits, right? Where you can see on the screen, there are top 5 benefits you can see. So as I mentioned, one of the primary important things, every customer, every business looks for a cost optimization. So you would see cost to benefit ratio and also faster time to value, because the lift and shift migration takes very less time compared to other 2 approaches, migration approaches, right? And I believe Srinath has already mentioned that one of the SAP business has achieved almost 30% of cost benefit just by doing lift and shift, right? So by leveraging the AWS native features. Then there are a couple of, most of the times the business always thinks of whether my business is going to be as usual, with any disruptions to the existing business processes. So in this case, you need not have to worry because there will be very minimal disruption to the business processes. And the teams will continue using the same tools, whether it is a basis team or a BAP team, they still continue to use the same tools, same code, same processes. And so once these are the various, the compelling reasons and the key benefits, once you register these, definitely this will help you to take the right decision for your SAP workloads. Now, moving on to a different scenario where if the SAP business wants to upgrade only the database layer, and they really want to bring in the native performance innovations of AWS onto their SAP workloads, this is an approach that best suits for SAP business owners, right? And I'm sure if you're thinking towards business transformation in future, if you're thinking of application modernization in future, right? So this is the place where you can start off so that you can get equipped, or your team also can get equipped with the HANA management skills, and that will make you future ready, a kind of a preparedness which can ease the complexity of upcoming S4 HANA implementation, which is going to be, if at all the plan is to be done in the future. And one other important thing is that this will be a compelling reason for this approach is that if customers are facing a lot of performance issues, then definitely migrating it to HANA database will improve the performance. It will boost up the performance because it is going to leverage the in-memory capabilities. So that's the best compelling reason for them to adhere to this particular approach. And also for future, getting future ready. All right. Then moving on to the third and most important migration approach is migration of your ECC on-premise, or even Suite on HANA on-premise to S4 HANA to AWS. This is the most complex scenario where not only that your business has increasingly becoming complex, but also you really want to redesign the architecture and entire retransformation onto cloud. Okay, so this will be for those businesses, SAP businesses, who have a clear vision of what their goals are. They have clear vision of their business expansion strategies, and they have a very valid business case and justification for the migration. So by approaching this, not only that you're getting benefited of a database layer where in-memory capabilities can be leveraged, but also various innovative features which already AWS has introduced, and they are at great momentum for SAP workloads. For instance, IoT, leveraging IoT services of AWS, and also like how Volkswagen has recently completed a migration by leveraging potential IoT services, and also various other data intelligence related features, and also predictive maintenance or predictive analytics features, real-time analytics aspects and all. So this is a best approach where you can leverage for if you want to really expand your business and also go to market at a faster pace. So this is something which I wanted to highlight to bring in what and when and why. And then how is like one of the interesting things which Ravi is going to talk after my presentation is on zero cost cloud migration. So that's where you will get a lot of insights on how part of it. Yeah, moving on to the next slide. Now that I'm going to talk about, already we have highlighted on various migration approaches. Now I'm going to talk about, some of the interesting features of, SAP and AWS capabilities with regard to performance and with regard to user experiences with, SAP that usually users get benefited of, and some of these innate capabilities of AWS for SAP workloads. And one of the interesting and very exciting aspect of SAP workloads migration to AWS is that enormous amount of performance improvements. Over here in this slide, I have actually categorized key performance parameters, which are extremely important on priority basis for SAP customers and for SAP businesses running on small to medium to large scale. And there are certain proven case studies where there is a lot of performance improvements in terms of whether it is a report generation or provisioning of the servers, or in terms of CPU performance, etc., right, and so on, right? So there are various. I have, towards my extreme right hand side, I have mentioned customer logos. So those have really have benefited out of AWS native features when they have migrated either their ECC workloads to AWS, or non-HANA workloads to AWS, or HANA workloads to AWS, and S4 HANA workloads to AWS, right? So over here, like, I'll highlight few of these benefit performance statistics, right? So there are some customers where you see that the first example is that provisioning time for SAP instances is almost 93% higher when compared to on-premise, right? So this is a customer where they used to take nearly 6 weeks of time to provision new servers, which now is possible within a day, right? So, and that not only helps in the performance or taking a business decisions, but also for a go market reach or for business expansion and taking any decisions forward, right? And few other, if you see this, the CPU performance utilization, it has been increased. Earlier it used to be almost close to 85 to 90%. And of course, on an average, if you see in the market, like in any businesses and all, it often touches 85% and above. But now, by leveraging, by migrating your SAP workloads, always the CPU performance or utilization is under control, and it actually will not be causing any hindrance to bad jobs or overnight invoicing reporting or any production workloads and all, right? And this daily sales reports, which is 10 times higher for CCI customer. If you see, data transfer performance is 5 times higher, right? In this case, like sometimes it is a hybrid approach where the data has to be migrated from on-premise to AWS cloud, right? So it's a hybrid, in the hybrid cloud, enormous amount of data that gets transferred. So network bandwidth also plays an important role, right? For seamless business activities and provisioning of various services, right? And development, reduction of development life cycle time, also 80%, right? Earlier, to deploy into the production, they used to wait for 3 months, but now which has been reduced to few days of time, right? So there are various other, these are, see, I have got almost 20 to 25 key performance metrics available, and we can definitely discuss in detail if you're interested. That would be great to have various scenarios discussed. Next, moving on to the next slide. Not only this performance aspects, right? There are so many other success stories for the customers that by leveraging the latest or enhanced features of, like, for example, for Volkswagen, it has leveraged microservices architecture, and that's where, improved the manufacturing productivity by 30%. And there are some other various parameters, right, where they have really made use of the IoT features, made use of the service availability, high availability aspects of it, and scalability. So all these things have really brought in customer success beyond the cost reduction, beyond the performance, right? Let's move on to the next slide, please. So when we come to the capabilities, right, when we talk about the AWS capabilities for SAP workloads, it's really fascinating. There are so many, you start with the AI, artificial intelligence, then machine learning aspects, predictive analytics, IoT, and data intelligence, and various security related aspects, coupled with the compliance related aspects, right? So all together, by leveraging all these capabilities, I'm sure the SAP workloads will see lots of benefits on AWS cloud platform.